Oh my God. We are live. I think we're live. You're used to hearing music at this point at the very, very beginning of the show, but not tonight. Welcome to the Walking Dead recap, episode 14, season 4. And the most important thing that I learned about tonight, the most important thing is that I'm stupid good, but not good stupid. But right now, everybody, I am doing this. This is me. This is me, Phil the Issues Guy. I'm here with Joe Dreads, my co-host, and I also got Stephanie NEZ here from the Issues Program website. She'll be talking about the episode too because I'm a little drunk, I'm a little messed up, I'm a little sunburned, as you can see, and I haven't really slept, and I haven't eaten much. I'm just drinking alcohol. So,
broadcasting live from Puerto Rico.
Yes, and we are live from Puerto Rico. Welcome to the Walking Dead recap. Tonight, Joe, you know what we did? We learned that sometimes you just have to kill some children. That's what you got to do. Sometimes
gotta keep the drama going. Kill a couple kids.
Kill a couple kids. I might be in South America, the children killing capital of the world. I'm not in South America actually, but I'm close to South America, the children killing capital of the world. So I think it's all connected here. Well, on tonight's Walking Dead episode, it was really about one particular issue. It again stuck with the format that's been going on the last couple of episodes, where it's basically focusing the story on one or two characters. But before we get started, I just want to tell you what you're listening to. You're listening to the Issues Program. As I said, I'm Phil the Issues Guy. You can check out all our Walking Dead podcasts and all our recaps and also the Breaking Bad recaps in my weekly podcast at issuesprogram.com. And if any of you guys have any questions or comments along the way, feel free to comment in the YouTube video below or email them to me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. It's kind of like calm but drunker. Or you can call and leave a message, then we can play it on the show the next week at 781-990-8509. Get your questions in, stuff you want us to address. If you think that we're stupid, you can call us stupid. We accept hate as much as we accept love here on the The Walking Dead recap. I'm gonna say that about 15 different times tonight, Joe. I'm gonna say that.
Hasn't even been on the air. New episode hasn't aired in months.
No, but it's in my mind. I can't get the damn show out of my head, and I'm just counting down the moments to Better Call Saul. So let's get back to The Walking Dead here. So this episode, a lot of stuff happened in this episode, but not a lot. The story didn't really progress any further. I think really what tonight's episode was all about, Joe, was getting rid of two characters that they didn't want to have on the show anymore because they got sick of writing for them.
Well, they just disappeared the little boy. At least the girls got a few episodes. The little boy that was with them the day they left the prison, when they came back from the season, he was just gone.
Yeah,
I figured with the whole episode focused on just those four, I figured we were going to get at least one flashback of what happened to the little boy.
You've been asking about that little boy for a couple weeks. I panicked for a second, Joe, because I didn't think you were. I didn't think I was getting your audio, but I am getting your audio. So if I wasn't reacting right away, that's why. But I know you've been wanting to hear about what happened to that little boy, but I feel like they just want to get rid of all these kids. The only kid that we're gonna have in the show is Judith and old Carl. I feel like these kids, the new showrunner didn't really want to have to worry about these kids, so they just wiped them all out in one shot. I kind of thought that maybe Lizzie was gone. In fact, Steph was yelling during the episode, "Why don't you just kill this damn Lizzie?" But I'm a little upset that Nika's dead. I was starting to really like Nika. I can't lie. I was a little emotional. What do you think, Steph?
Me too.
Well, she made a good point.
She's smarter. She's definitely smarter. She could control Lizzie.
Yeah, and she made a good point. Joe, what were you saying?
Oh yeah. Well, she couldn't control Lizzie that good.
yeah, obviously not. Obviously, that's true. Obviously,
I'm sure it came as a surprise to Nika that she was getting stabbed.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
La-di-da, let's have a tea party. Stab.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure she was. She felt very surprised by the whole stabbing repeatedly by her sister.
And Mika made a great point tonight in tonight's episode that it's not about how you kill or who you kill or what you kill. It's about how you live. And Mika was making a good point. Like, I'm not going to be a different person. If someone's going to kill me, I'm not going to kill them to stop them. I'm not going to be a bad person It was very Jesus-y kind of, turn the other cheek. Just because they're going to kill me doesn't mean I should kill them. I'm not going to be a different person because they're bad.
I personally, I mean, we're going to go through it a little bit, but what we usually do is go through the episode from beginning to end, all the actions that happened. I feel like the first half of this episode was all just a series of like, educational slogans to lead up to what was going to happen at the end. I don't think anything that happened at the beginning of this episode is really relevant necessarily. I think everything that happened in this episode that's important was in that last 15 minutes. Similar to kind of what happened, not similar, but similar in the way that the action was all bunched in at the end as the last couple episodes with the Daryl and Beth. I saw a lot of parallels with the Daryl and Beth thing when they were living in the house and Tyrese is talking about, can we live here?
Every episode that we've had a group stumble upon a house, even to like the crack commando team we saw at the beginning of season 2. What was it when they all entered the house, and then all exited the house in a crack, team fashion, all quiet and everything. Everybody remembers that opener to that episode, and it just flashes every time they do this. It flashes to that kind of thing. We've seen this a dozen times.
And it seems like it's starting to become just old hand on The Walking Dead. It's just certain things are going to happen. They're going to go into a house. Everything's going to seem fine. They're going to make comments about how they should live in there for the rest of their lives, and then a bunch of zombies are going to break in, or some little girl's going to stab another little girl. And a whole bunch of disaster is going to happen. So let's get into this episode from beginning to end. So at the very beginning of the episode, what ended up that we were seeing was a little flash to the future. We actually saw what was going to happen at the end of the episode. But my initial thought watching that brief, we were like, what the fuck was that? My initial thought was that was a flashback to how Nika and Lizzie lost their parents. I thought it was some sort of flashback and similar to what we had from Bob last week, where we learn about where these characters came from. That's what I thought we were dealing with right there. But I ended up being completely wrong, and it was foreshadowing Lizzie stabbing the girl.
Of the zombie.
Yeah, the taunting of the zombie. Yeah, the come on zombie, I'm playing with the zombie. So then we flash to a couple of series of events that basically I was making reference to it a second ago. We have Carol and Lizzie having a really weird talk about how Lizzie's just trying to get across her point that these zombies are people and there's something human inside of them. And Carol's just like, no, dearie, you just don't get it. She's kind of treating her with kid gloves, but she's just kind of trying to talk her, not thinking that she's a real problem, and just kind of pacifying her, like, oh, it's okay, Lizzie. You just need to learn. You need to learn. You're tough. Because I think, we've talked about this before, but I think Carol, in herself, sees a lot of herself in Lizzie. And I think that was set up before, and I think it was set up big time in this episode. That Carol sees Lizzie as almost a reflection of herself, as a young version of herself, and could be the same type of person. I mean, I think she was wrong. She was definitely wrong, but I think that's the case.
And she sees Michaela, Micah, whatever her name is, as just like
as
her daughter.
Sophia. Yeah, just like Sophia. And we get to that later. And then we have a scene with Carol and Tyrese talking, a real tense conversation where Tyrese is just talking about how much he trusts her, the typical television stuff.
Yeah. She almost tells him right then that she killed Homegirl and...
Yeah, Karen and whatever his name was. Did you get the feeling in... I don't know, I got a weird vibe from Tyrese this week. The actor seemed to be giving the performance something a little different this week. He was very soft-spoken.
He's tired. He's tired. He's injured and tired. Yeah, he's supposed to have a fever, like Steph just said. She's rubbing that stuff on his wound. This will bring the fever down, and so he's run down. He's been up for days looking after these kids, and now Carol too.
No,
what does he know that Carol's really a fighter?
Yeah. No, fair enough. I just at the moment I was watching it was a little. What's he doing? Why is he talking like this? Because he was talking very much like this a lot in the episode. You know, very. And he seemed, and I think it was an excellent job by the lighting department and the makeup people or whatever that made him seem very small in this episode. Tyrese is a really huge guy. He just seemed a little tiny to me in this episode. Like, yeah, I think you guys both put it. He was beaten down. He had dealt with a lot of issues dealing with the kids, protecting them on his own. He had a lot of injuries, and I think I just. It wasn't clear because I think some of that stuff, again, doesn't necessarily match up where characters can do certain things in this show when they're supposed to be hurt in certain ways. Like okay, he's so hurt, but he's still walking down the tracks, hanging out. And like with Rick too, a couple episodes ago, he was basically in a coma.
With a punctured lung. 12 hours later, he's up running from the house.
Yeah, he's hiding under the bed. He's playing hide and seek with Mayor Hale. He was Governor Hale, yeah.
Hell yeah.
The SOA boys are coming over pretty soon. Speaking of SOA, I saw something that was like SOA soap. It was like soap or something, and I read it as SOA ope or something. I took a picture of it. I was like, oh, I got SOA on my mind. So we go back after that point, and like then we have another parallel where we get into another Walking Dead plot contrivance. We need to separate for some stupid reason. You guys go over here. We're gonna go off and go over here. We're gonna go deer hunting because it's really safe to go off alone. And I'm gonna take Nika, and you stay with the crazy one. And again, I saw it almost as just an excuse to get Carol in a position to be alone with Nika, because we needed some Nika and Carol one-on-one time in the same way that we got Lizzie and Carol one-on-one time.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot about Nika in this moment. We learned that she is not as dumbass as she's come off being at the beginning.
She's a little enlightened. You know, she knows the difference between what murdering a person and killing one of the dead people is. She knows the difference.
Exactly. She understands that she doesn't want to kill people and living things, but she can kill walkers and has absolutely no problem killing walkers. Steph, were you as annoyed with Nika as you were with Lizzie?
No. Lizzie, how can you even compare the two in this episode, I guess?
No,
Lizzie, I just wanted to kill her the whole time, and I'm glad at the end they killed her.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree, and I was
Lenny,
really upset.
She Lenny'd him. Tell me how it's going to be on the farm, George. I'm just going to look at the flowers. Look at the flowers, Lizzie.
I wish I could show you my notes right here. I wish you could read my handwriting. I think I actually did write. It's the old Mice of Men finish. Tell me about the rabbits again, Liz. Just look at the flowers, dearie. Just look at the flowers. It's gonna be okay. Oh, it's gonna be okay. Carol is so cold-blooded.
So who makes the best Lenny? John Malkovich, Randy Quaid, or this girl, Lizzie?
I'd say Lizzie does because as angry and frustrating it was to watch her, I've got to give this young actress a lot of credit for pulling off batshit crazy really well. When she's in her crazy, I think some of the regular acting, like scene-to-scene moments, are somewhat problems here and there, but for the most part, when the two of them work one-on-one with each other, when she plays those crazy, like, I'm nuts Lizzie moments, they're really believable. And you can really buy...
Yeah, they were good.
...that she's an insecure girl, which I think leads us to the biggest issue or the biggest thing that came out of this episode and the big theme. And I think it did it really, really well in this episode, where sometimes the themes in The Walking Dead, it's kind of misty. I think it... no pun intended for the Pokemon world. But I've been watching Pokemon, so Misty's on my mind. But I think how do people that have problems like this, psychotic people that probably could be treated in the normal world, like someone like Lizzie, if she was in a normal world, would be treated and probably could be properly medicated and monitored, and could probably eventually get get the brain chemistry the right way to not be batshit crazy. But in this world, what do you do with somebody like that? What the hell do you do? Carol was right. She can't. Neither of them could separate because either of them would die on their own. Tyrese couldn't handle the baby alone without a partner. And if Carol went off with Lizzie, those two would end up dying. You can't let Lizzie stay in the same place as a baby or any of them because God knows what that girl's going to do.
Right, she's already tried to kill the baby at least once. Actually, twice by the time she dies.
Twice, because
I was just about to turn her, too.
I know, I was just about to stab the baby. Wait a second, you can't take the knife away. I'm about to stab the baby. Come on. You felt really bad for her. You're like, oh, come on.
How can you be that crazy?
Yeah, I want you to stab the baby. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
The dad thinks it's dead anyway. It doesn't matter. Rick and Carl think the baby's dead anyway. Who cares? It doesn't matter. But what do you do in this world with someone like that? And I guess Steph said it during the episode, and I guess it was the only real option. They could have left her alone. They could have left her there alone, given her a few bullets and a gun, or given her a knife, and been like, "Sorry, live on this farm, raise walkers, let yourself be turned, turn yourself into that was the only other option than what Carol did." Do you think Carol did the right thing, or do you think they should have left her alone, or can you think of another hope?
Left her alone. She wanted to be a walker.
Okay, you think she wanted to be a walker?
Carol's gonna have that guilt on her too now, because of how she was crying and saying, "You're mad at me. You're mad at me." That's gonna sting.
That's gonna sting. Do you think that will sting more, okay? Let's answer this first question first. Joe, what do you think of that situation? Do you think Carol did the right thing, or do you think she should have left her alone to be turned into a walker?
No. See, I think in this situation, I think she did the right thing. I think if this girl does grow up and survives being left alone, she's a danger to absolutely every human that ever comes across her.
Fair enough. She could turn into someone way worse than like the governor, someone like that gets off on not the someone like that, someone that gets off on the murder and killing other people. She could turn herself into a serial killer or something like that.
Absolutely.
I think what Carol really was doing, and I've said it in my notes too. I think Carol feels really, and she said it at the end of the episode, so it's no big revelation by me. She feels really responsible for what happened with Lizzie, for not seeing this and for teaching a psychotic person how to kill.
No. No. She feels responsible for what happened to the other girl.
Right.
And not seeing it in Lizzie first. She would have killed Lizzie sooner.
I think it's part that, and I also take it as part of when she was training the kids before. It's almost giving Lizzie the means and looking at it like, oh my God, I could have stopped this before it happened if I never trained this girl, or if I never showed her how to kill.
No, I don't think Carol thinks that.
You think Carol just feels bad for the other girl because she sees so much of her
I think this was the first time Carol saw the difference between what she did with Tyrese's girl there. I think she felt guilty. She knows it was wrong to have killed them now. I think the girl, the Michaela, whatever the hell her name is.
Nika.
I think that
Nika Blue.
She kind of pointed that out to Carol. It's not how you die, it's how you live. If people are going to kill you, they're going to kill you. No need to be, a bad person and kill them. It's not how you die, it's how you live. It's a very, very, very powerful statement that girl was making when she didn't kill the deer. And Carol kind of realized that, I think. And that's ultimately that, and the guilt of all that Tyrese Jew guilt trip she put on her. She had to tell him, but
Listen, you better tell that Tyrese you killed his girlfriend, or you're not getting any chicken soup for dinner, Tyrese. Watch out! I'm gonna take that matzo ball out and smash it in your face, Tyrese. I we're jumping all over the place tonight, but it's kind of that kind of episode in the sense that, as I was saying, it doesn't really matter what happened in the first half.
Hold on, the world should know that the three of us here are Jews, so before they all call us anti-Semitic for throwing out that Jew guilt thing.
It's true. It's true. We are Jewish. We all had Jewish mothers. We're well aware of how true something like Jewish guilt is, and it's just it's so powerful that it makes you similar to the way like Q-tips corner the market and cotton swabs, that you call all cotton swabs Q-tips. You call all guilt Jew guilt because Jew guilt is so powerful that it's cornered the market on guilt. So back to the episode. we had this whole big scene with Carol and Nika doing. We talked at length about that. Then we get eventually we lead up to the scene that Carol seems to have let Lizzie keep a walker alive on the train track. That was a big part of the episode that walker was there, and then she'd go back and she was feeding rats and everything and mice and stuff like that. So we finally found out the truth about the prison situation, that it was in fact Lizzie who was feeding the walkers rats and attracting them to the gate, and also tortured a bunny for absolutely no reason. And then just the way Tyrese says it too. I knew. Oh yeah, she tortured that bunny for no reason, just for joy. Yes, she Tad. So Ty is weirded out. He's weirded out about relaxing in this moment, but this is when Nika starts being. This is when you know Nika's in trouble, when she starts saying all these words of wisdom. Relaxed, everything's gonna be okay, Tyrese. Everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry. I'm like, this girl is so dead. I wrote in my notes, shit's gonna get bad real quick. You just knew it. The next day was the next morning. Lizzie was playing with Lizzie's outside playing with a walker. Yeah, this is this scene. And Carol looks outside from the kitchen as she's trying to prepare breakfast, and you see Lizzie playing with a walker. You know, just playing tag. Yeah, playing keep away. Keep away the human meat from the zombie. Ooh, you keep away from this. Keep away the human. Oh, you can't bite me. Look at it. Oh, I mean, that's the game that she's playing. Like, can somebody? Like at this point right here, we are screaming at the computer screen, "Kill this girl! Someone put this poor little child out of its sad little misery." It's sad what's going on here, because this little girl is. It's sad because of what ends up happening and the outcome of basically what Carol says, of not seeing what this girl could do like earlier, and not realizing, not seeing all the red flags that were flashing off on this girl. That because
was this shit in the comic books? Was this shit in the comic books? Do you know?
No, and that is again connects to our whole. Why I think that they are trying to kill everything not connected to the comic books. Because I think, from what I've heard, Season 5, specifically the end of this season into Season 5, is going to be as close of an adaptation from the comic books as Game of Thrones is from the books on television. They really want to do this Terminus story and the Abraham the Washington story. They want to do it very, very close to the way the comics did it. So
bye-bye, Daryl.
So bye-bye Daryl, exactly. We talked about this. That's why I have a weird feeling Daryl might die in the next couple episodes, or be somehow in line, because I haven't completely read the books, but I've had enough of it spoiled to know that Hale's men, that Hale stuff does seem similar to something that happens in the comics, and it could make sense that Daryl was just with those guys. And that wouldn't be completely out. Like, there's enough room in that storyline in the comics where Daryl could fit in there. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, I think that I really do think part of it was they wanted to kill these girls because I guess there's stuff that happens with kids in the comics that's somewhat similar, but these girls are not in the books. And bye bye, death to you. Death to you. And Lizzie, and so Lizzie's playing with playing keep away from the zombie, and Carol comes out and kills her and kills the zombie. And this is when Lizzie goes batshit crazy. You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I'm crazy, little girl. You know, and she's just going like head spinning, vomits coming out. She's all exorcism out. Oh, this is my friend. You don't understand, my friend. You don't understand, my friend.
I know what I have to do now.
I know what I have to do now to prove to you. Yes, she says, I know what I have to do now to prove to you.
Not to get myself bitten because you'll just kill me and I can't prove it. But
that's what I was thinking right there. I was like, does she mean kill herself and have her come back? And no, she means she needs to kill her sister. And it's so horrible because we have like a couple of big scenes with the two of them today, and Nika just really puts Lizzie in her place, and they have a weird relationship where it's almost like in that TV show Heroes, when they in the second season, when you had the girl that had disease, and the only way the disease would cease if the brother came over and calmed her down by rubbing her. It's like they until she learned how to control her power later when Heroes got stupid. But that's a different story altogether. It's like Lizzie needs Nika to keep her grounded and keep her from going off the handles. That's why I really wonder what that. I mean, obviously they couldn't show a kid being stabbed on television. They probably wanted to do that on screen, but you got one little girl murdering another little girl with a knife. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could do that.
That's a little intimate as well. Like there's a lot of fucked up shit.
I know, but I know it's not stabbing the baby, which is. But I do think
which would have been awesome.
If she showed her stabbing the baby at the edge, just slicing the baby's neck, that would have been the best thing ever. Dead baby jokes forever with The Walking Dead. The Talking Dead would be all dead baby jokes tonight, and this whole show, our whole show here, would be all dead baby jokes too. But I do think it's still I can't think of
what's grosser than 1,000 dead babies in one bucket.
What's that?
One dead baby in 1,000 buckets.
Oh, gross. Okay, let's not turn into dead baby, because Steph's about to explode with dead baby jokes right now. She's shaking over there. We'll let you pick one at the end to tell. And so we get with this whole the girl just going nuts. And what I'm saying is like Lizzie can really calm her down. She yells at her. She goes, I know we used to pretend that these were real, but pretend time's over. These things are dangerous, and you need to be careful. You can't play with them anymore. This is stupid. Stop, Lizzie. And then Lizzie just freaks out. Oh, I'm sorry. And then she calms her down. It's like rubbing the nose. Calm down, Lizzie. It's okay. Don't kill any babies today, Lizzie. You'll be okay. Chill out. Okay, little girl. And we have this the relationship of the two of them, and through this whole situation, it's also going back and forth with Tyrese and Carol. It's basically a series of duet scenes. The first half of this episode that we have Carol and Lizzie. We have Carol and Nika. We have Nika and Lizzie. We have then we have Tyrese and Carol. And then occasionally the four of them come together for like here and there moments. But for the most part, it's a big separation. Like they're Carol and Tyrese go into the house to clean it up, to make sure there aren't any zombies there where they're going to hang out at the beginning of the episode. And the zombie comes out and attacks the kids, and then it's the two of them, and that's when Nika shows what she said to Carol earlier, that she will shoot zombies. She has absolutely no problem shooting zombies, but she won't shoot deer, and she won't shoot human. As Joe was saying earlier in the show, she understands the difference between human life and zombie life. Unlike Nika, who seems to think, unlike Lizzie, who seems to, I guess, I know she's batshit crazy, but I'm trying to understand exactly what Lizzie's thing is, what she thinks. She thinks that they're really human.
Well, there's a couple of things going on there. A, she's showing classic, psychopathic tendencies with all the animal killing, and then she even says at one point to her sister when the thing gets stuck on the train tracks, Just, I can hear them. I hear what they're saying.
Yeah, that was weird. I almost thought we were gonna do a Neo thing with her for a second. Like she's the one. She can talk to the zombies. She can connect to the Matrix, whether she's in the Matrix or not. Like Lizzie's the one. She's gonna save us. she's our John Connor. But
that reeks of like schizophrenia, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so
having delusions of grandeur and delusions of understanding God or understanding whatever. She definitely showed all the signs of early onset schizophrenia.
Well, there's even more than that too. There's also now you got to think about all the post-traumatic stress disorder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of not only losing her entire family except her sister, but losing the entire prison again, living in the zombie apocalypse, being forced to make the decision of who to kill and how to figure it all out. There's no doubt this girl's out of her mind.
No, and you also have to figure that in this, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, in this world, someone like her is just going to get worse. If there's no like maybe in a normal life with a normal upbringing and a normal family, it might just come out in small doses with someone like her. You know, she might not have turned into a serial killer.
I mean, look what PTSD did to the governor.
Mm-hmm. No, the governor on the show is very different than the governor in the comics. The governor in the comics was kind of evil like when we first meet him. But you're right. The governor on the show, he was a little weird and had a little bit of a mental disorder, but he was still somewhat a good guy until Michonne killed Penny, and he lost Penny, and then he just snapped and turned.
Well, also for all accounts, it was the zombie apocalypse that made him snap. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to have been like a good guy. He worked at this factory or whatever. Like
I would go even
family guy.
I would go even further to say it was probably the death of his daughter. Like his daughter initially turning was the first brick in the wall, and then the final brick in the wall was the ninja sword through the head of Penny. That all in all, that's the final brick in the wall. And again, I'm gonna say it just because it needs to be said. I didn't miss him as much in this episode, but again, I was fully aware that this is three episodes in a row with no Rick. 3 episodes. I think this is the longest stretch with no Rick, and we've lost our. I guess this considers losing our streak for consecutive weeks without losing main characters. I guess this counts. I guess two halves equal one whole. We'll take the 2 kids.
Are those main characters? I don't know.
I'm going by main characters in the sense that like they were characters from the prison that were somewhat featured as escapees, as our escapee group. But you're right, and I'm kind of joking about it, but essentially that's what I'm saying. You take the 2 and you slap them together, and then we have one main character. But I guess you could still argue that time's still gone on without losing a main character.
No, I'll give it.
Yeah. We'll count. We'll see.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, it's 2 of them. 2 kids equal 1. So, and then we have a standoff with Tyrese and Carol, where she seems like she wants to tell him that he, tell him the truth. Yeah, tell him that she killed Karen and stuff. And she basically completely wussied out and was, I'm sorry, I'm thinking that maybe Nika's right. There is good people in all of us or something, or maybe living life. She just pussied out. And so I forget why, but Carol and Tyrese went off for a while to find another deer. I think it was that whenever anyone went off tonight, I think it was to go find deer. It wasn't clear that they were going to find deer. But when they found themselves near, I'm sorry, I'll stop. And they're coming back, and they look, and they see Lizzie standing there with a knife dripping in blood, saying, I did it. I'm going to show you guys now. I'm going to show you guys when my sister comes back to life, and she's going to be herself. I didn't stab her brain, so she's going to come back.
And you'll see she won't want to hurt me. She'll just be a friend.
Yep. And then Carol and Tyrese go to go to touch the body and move the body and take the knife away, and Lizzie
Hold
pulls
on,
out a gun.
that's your option right there. You wanted to give her another option as for how you kill her?
Mm-hmm.
Let her sister do it. Let
Oh,
zombie
wait.
Michaela, let her see that, no, you're wrong. Michaela's going to eat you now, whatever the hell her name is. Nika.
Nika. I think that's funny though. It's like it would be like that last thought. Oh, maybe I was wrong. That final thought. You're gonna be really pissed off at that last moment.
Right?
You're like, oh my god, I guess I was wrong.
Like you kind of know at that point, once you see the dead girl on the ground and she says, I'm about to kill the little baby, you know at that point you got to put this girl down. And she points the gun at you. You know you can never sleep next to her, that she's got to go.
She needed to die.
So why not let her sister eat her? Prove a point.
You got to think also that one of Nika's last thoughts was probably similar to that. Like, she probably always thought she could control her sister, or always thought that her sister would never actually hurt her. And I think that's the case in a lot of times when people are really close to people that are psychopaths. They don't think that the psychopath will actually hurt them. Because I think if anybody knew who Lizzie was, it was Nika. I think she understood that this girl was a few sandwiches short of a picnic. That she was her elevator doesn't reach the top floor. She's a few cents short of a buck. Yeah, whatever. The first one was the best. But I think she was well aware of her sister being as nutty as Mounds Bar.
She absolutely was.
No.
I want to.
Almond Joy. Nutty as an almond joy. I'm sorry.
I think everybody assumes Carol put up this great relationship with all these kids too, like got to know all of them. I don't think necessarily that's the case. I think she purposely didn't get to know them as kids or come to love them, like, or adopt them. Like, she kind of gives a look tonight. It's kind of mentioned and glossed over. She doesn't agree with the girl. Yeah, I'm your adopted mother. I'm going to take care of you and all that bullshit.
That goes back to what I was saying earlier, that I think that if she doesn't feel a level of responsibility for what she put these kids through, she should, because you feel... Say what you want about what Master Yoda teaching Padawans at a young age, but he's like, doesn't send them off into the field. I mean, they had to deal with Anakin killing... oh my god, I'm addressing the original trilogy, but you know what I mean. It's a similar thing. It's a similar thing that you have to train. She was training these kids, and she was preparing them, and you've got to understand your soldiers. You've got to get inside their minds. Again, someone like Lizzie, if she had taken the time and really listened to the things she was saying, she would have known that this girl was batshit crazy. As you put it, she would have put this girl out of her misery a long time ago.
Right, but here's the thing too. She's trying not to get close to the kids because she had just lost her daughter, but she knows how important it is that these kids learn how to kill these zombies and protect themselves from people like the governor. That's very important for her, especially because her daughter, she even said it, no, you can't run. My daughter ran.
Yeah,
and running doesn't work.
Yeah, there was a couple of points about where she talks about how Nika is sweet like Sophia, and you're never gonna last.
And she's gonna die. Sweet. And she foreshadows it. She says, what happened to your daughter? Oh, she's dead. She was a sweet girl. Oh, Micah's sweet. She calls her the exact same thing. She basically definitely foreshadows the death of Micah there. Nika, whatever the hell her name is. I've never felt more like Larry in my life, talking about the store that's like down the street for 30 years, and he's calling it the name it was the year that we moved in.
Nika, he's like, yeah, fuck, I'm calling that thing White Dove.
Whatever her name is.
Yeah, right. I don't care. She'll always be that to me. Yeah, whatever. She's dead now. We don't need to remember her name anymore. She's dead. I'm insensitive. The children are dead. We're upset. The children are dead. People were crying.
Also, remember too that when she's in the prison, all the way up until the sickness, and just about until like the day before she gets banished, that girl's got parents, got at least a father, so she's not getting that close. She's not the kid's mother or parent.
No, absolutely, and she, Carol, kind of, you're right. She kept herself at a safe distance from anybody for the most part, except for maybe Daryl. She was the only one she started to get kind of close to. So they walk over, and Lizzie's holding the bloody blade in her hand, dripping down. Lizzie, oh Lizzie, that wacky
Yep.
girl.
Lizzie Borden,
And Lizzie
59
Borden.
wax.
Jordan took an axe.
And this is, we hinted at this line before, but she's like, she basically, Carol calms down the situation, realizing that you can't treat a crazy person like they're crazy. You just need to talk to them and make them feel like
Sorry,
they're
40 wax with an axe.
40 wax with an axe. Yeah. You need to talk to the crazy person like you understand what they're going through. Oh, it's okay. We're gonna do what you want. We're just gonna tie her up so you can prove your point. Oh, why don't
We'll
you
use
give
her
me the-
shoelaces.
Yeah, she'll use her shoelaces. It'll be cute. Why don't you give me the knife? And then Lizzie's like, "Oh, I'll give you the knife. I was just about to stab Judith." And she just
Yeah,
smiled.
let me finish the job. I got one more to go. Come on, she's right there. Let me do it.
Please, let me stab the baby. Come on. It makes you think that she probably, think about the logistics of the situation. Wouldn't she have done the baby first? Wouldn't you think that she would do the baby first?
No, because once she does the baby, that puts Michaela, Micah, whatever that, Mika, whatever her name is, it puts her on alert.
From the dead.
Yeah, you would have liked to see Zombie Nika?
Zombie Nika killing Lizzie.
Yeah, that's what Joe was saying. He'd like to have seen zombie
Right,
Lizzie
Carol should have thrown her to her zombie sister. Yeah, I tied her up. I'm going to let her eat you to show you how wrong you are, little girl, and you really do have to die.
What shoes?
So is what?
Still
Oh,
Shoes.
poor Lizzie. And I also feel like you're right
31.
that you're right in the sense sensation that in the sense that if she killed the baby first, you'd be dealing with a lot angrier of a Nika, and that makes a harder kill. So she did do it. She did do it the correct murderer's way. She got rid of the problem first. You want to kill the hardest person to kill first.
Right. Katie.
So we move on a little bit here, and we cut to we hinted at the scene before. We cut to Carol and Tyrese sitting in the house. There was a lot of talk, and we mentioned this in passing. A lot of talk about them. Oh, let's just stay here. Let's stay in this house. Similar to the Daryl and Beth thing, as we said. And they're sitting there at their kitchen table. You see the nuts that they were eating for dinner, and all the one dinner they had there. The memories. Oh, the memories.
Walnuts.
The
Walnuts and peaches.
Well, we can eat peaches. I can eat a peach for hours. I can eat a peach for hours. Sorry, Nicolas Cage moment. And so Nicolas Cage should be in The Walking Dead, but I digress. So Carol and Tyrese basically decide that what we said. I'll go off. Carol's like, I'll go off with Lizzie on my own, and Tyrese is like, that leaves me with the baby alone. I can't handle the baby alone. And
No, he doesn't even say that. He says, so I'll take the kid and go there. And
Yeah,
Carol's like, no, you'll die.
You'll die.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, I'll die too. No, I'll die too. And then they're just like, what are we gonna do? It's just one of those moments like, hey Joe, what should we do here? Should we
Pretty
smoke?
much only one option.
Yeah, should we smoke or shouldn't we smoke? Should we smoke? We got one joint left. Should we smoke it today? No. You want to smoke this thing or not?
No.
Yes, we are. No, we're absolutely smoking it.
No. Save it.
Did you say eat it?
No, she said save it.
Oh, save it.
That's
Save it
fun.
for
Observations.
Yes, save it. Anyways, so it was just like one of those moments, and basically they're like, basically they're like, oh yeah, what should we do? What should we do? And then we flash to our of Mice and Men moment, where Carol and it was just
look at the flowers, Lizzie.
This was the most horrifying death. I don't know what was more horrifying, Nika getting killed or what ends up happening here. I almost found what ends up happening here. It was almost a good thing, something good ended up happening here at the end, but it was still horrifying. And it was horrifying for television because what we were saying, I'm trying to think of, it was a question I was going to ask before, could they really show a kid stabbing another kid on television? Is there some law against that?
Let's think about some horrific moments with baby deaths. MASH showed had a suffocated baby.
Yeah.
You know, that was a big moment in MASH. You know, shut that damn chicken up. You know, and Lizzie almost suffocated the baby earlier in the show. Like,
yeah, but suicide is painless, Joe. Suicide is painless.
But it brings on many changes.
Yes, it does.
You do it right.
And do.
Hey, I could take or leave it.
Yeah.
I could take or leave it.
Do you think? Sorry, quick side note. Do you think they should have kept the theme song for MASH? Do you think they were smart to get rid of the lyrics?
Yeah, I liked it.
I like the lyrics too, but they were horribly depressing. They're horribly depressing. Like a show about the Korean War medical unit's not going to be depressing enough. But with a song like "Suicide is Painless." So we proceed to this Of Mice and Men moment, and it basically reminds me a little bit of. There's a couple of other moments. It reminded me honestly and mostly of Godfather 2. With the Fredo dying scene, because you had Tyrese looking from the window, looking out like Michael was looking on the river, and you had her just being so like I think eventually Lizzie realized what was about to happen, but for the first half she's just like, oh, I'm so happy, we're here, we're doing all these good things, and la 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 la.
No, Lizzie had no idea.
I just murdered my sister, and oh my god. And then Carol's just being like stoic mafia, like, you're dead meat, I'm gonna kill you. And Lizzie goes, are you upset with me? Are you upset with me? Did I do something wrong? Oh my god, did I do something wrong? Am I wrong?
I'm sorry for nothing except pulling the gun on you. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to make you mad at me.
Exactly. And I'm sorry I didn't kill the baby quick enough. I'm sorry.
Right, you would have seen.
Like, no awareness that she understands what she did was wrong and that she could grow or change. There was nothing there. And then we have our, tell me about the rabbits again, George. Lenny, think about the rabbits. Lenny, think about the rabbits.
Stare at the flowers, Lizzie.
Stare at the flowers. Stare at the flowers. Stare at the flowers. Bam! Pop. Dead. One shot, one, you're done.
Yep.
And then we have the two, we have the burial. We have,
you have Tyrese going, oh. And then he even asks her about it. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah. He just gives that, kind of walks away from the window.
Yeah, and he didn't help her dig the graves either. What an asshole, you know?
No, he carried the bodies out, though. And those are some pretty shallow-ass graves. Those kids are getting dug up and eaten.
I know. Those some dog, that stray dog that fucked with Daryl last week is going to have a good dinner. Going to have a yummy dinner.
Dooley the doggy.
So our final scene is Carol and Tyrese talking, and basically Carol finally admits to him because he's basically saying, "Oh my God," we talked about the scene at the beginning. Sorry, mosquito. And we talked about the scene at the beginning. He is like, "Oh, what? Oh, now this makes sense. Like she killed the bunny. She was feeding the mice and yada yada yada. What if she killed my sister too? You know, like." And then Carol refers back to that, not her sister, my girlfriend. And Carol says, Lizzie didn't. This had to be done. Lizzie was a problem. You know, I had to do what I had to do. And I'm really, really sorry, Tyrese, but Lizzie didn't kill your girlfriend and that other dude that no one gives a shit about. I did. And here's my gun. Do what you got to do. And then Tyrese is like, did they suffer? Was it quick? And she's like, no. And then he puts his hand on the gun, and she says it again. Do what you got to do. And he says something along the lines of, I forgive you. I'll never forget. I know you well enough to know that's going to stick with you.
Yeah, you're never going to forget. I'm never going to forget. But I forgive you.
But I forgive. But I forgive you. Because he knows he has no one else, and he knows he needs her to survive. And you know what this really made me think? What an asshole Rick was. If Tyrese was going to be this understanding about it...
No. Tyrese would have killed her. You know, last week she was dead.
It was only because of the Lizzie.
Right. It was only because of what he saw her do for Lizzie, for Nika. You know, she made a very tough choice. Tyrese probably thinking he was having trouble. He's like, I don't know if I could kill these people if they come and attack the town.
And
you know, like, this is their fight, not my fight. You know, he kind of had that same, like, it's not how you die, it's how you live kind of kind of thought that Nika has. And I don't think he could have done it.
What else is that from? It's not how you die, it's how you live. It's like a movie slogan or something. It's just that, or is it from The Walking Dead?
Confucius says you've cracked it open. Someone's cracked it open in a.
It's not how you die in this world. It's how you live. Some war movie.
Oh yeah.
Strong type.
Yeah. You know, and there it is. Big change of gender roles there. The big man stayed in the house and watched her bring old Yeller out back to put him down.
I gotta say that
to bring Lenny out back.
I'd say that this show does a really good job of not having, and I think some shows do better jobs than others. I think Deep Space Nine did a really good job with Kira and Dax at making female characters without making them victims. And I think The Walking Dead does a really good job with characters like Maggie Michonne. And,
it didn't remember back to the farm and Lori yelling at
Lori's an idiot.
She's yelling at what's her name? You gotta work in the kitchen, clean their laundry. They're out doing this stuff. You shouldn't have that gun. Be a woman like us.
How's that working out for Lori? I said, how's that working out for Lori? How's that bullshit working out for her?
Yeah, that's what she says. Yeah, that's what she says too. Basically, is 2 boyfriends, baby on the way. We're not all as lucky as you.
We're not a dirty
boyfriend, husband.
Like you.
Right.
Oh my God. So then our episode ends with them on the road to Terminus, going back to Terminus. And I assume since we have 3 episodes left in this season that
this wasn't one of those 3. There's 3 more after this one.
No, I believe this was I think there's 2 more. I believe you're right. I think there's 2 more. But you gotta think that next week it's gonna be a convergence episode. We gotta see more than just one storyline.
Someone's got to meet up with someone. You know, how much were you thinking that whole time?
Cut off to the next season.
That Stephanie has a good point. Do you think that the end of the season is going to be just them everyone reaching Terminus and seeing each other? Like the last thing we see will be everyone seeing each other that's alive, or will we actually have them come together by the end of the season?
I think some of them. Will cliffhang with some still out on the road. Maybe. You know, I'm thinking. Was that fire that was raging the whole time? That
Terminus,
Nika said was that Daryl and Beth's fire just right there?
That is a good point. I didn't even think about that. Was the fire Daryl and Beth setting the house on fire? Yeah. I was wondering if it was that, or I was wondering if it was maybe Terminus or some sort of signal fire for what was.
Eyes degrade. The only things that they can really see.
No, I assume it was the house burning. Because the burn was burning at night.
So they're attracted to fire.
Yeah, they are attracted to fire too.
And we
see that when Glenn throws the Molotov cocktail.
Yep. No, we do. And did you notice that the 2 of the zombies that came down the train tracks were on fire? Or looked like
a bunch of them were. Yeah, they were all crispy. There were a bunch of crispy ones. So
I do think that has to do with the fight. But you got to figure that. Okay, I guess the real question, two-part question: will we get a reunion of Glenn and Maggie this season? By the end of the season, will we get our reunion? Will we get Maggie and Glenn hugging and kissing?
I think with all the talk of hope, all season, there's a good possibility of that.
Okay.
There's a very good possibility that because of all the talk of hope, they might make that. Well, they can't give it all to us. Are they going to give us Rick and the baby, or are they going to give us Glenn and Maggie?
Will we get one of those 2? What's the over/under? We'll get 1 or 2, 1.5.
Daryl and Carol? That's not a reunion.
That's a huge thing.
Well, some people want the Daryl and Carol. Some people are on the Daryl and Carol train. That's not the only one.
Daryl, Carol.
Come on.
Hi, I'm Daryl. This is my wife, Carol. This is my son, Larry.
Will Daryl bone Beth? Will Daryl bone Beth? We have a question.
Dun, dun, dun. No, Daryl will not bone Beth.
Now, guys,
Daryl's going to die trying to save Beth's life. That's my prediction. I hope he doesn't die. I hope he doesn't die. Like he's like an angel with those wings on his back, you know.
He's like Tig on Sons of Anarchy. It's like every time you think he's gonna die.
No, he's not like Tig on Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah,
no.
Tig's the guy on that show. People don't want
to die. No, there is no. He is not. You know, he's the Chibs. He's more the Chibs than the Tig.
Okay, we have a lot to talk about. Okay,
Yeah.
well, we're going to end this here because we have a lot to talk about our Sons of Anarchy. Everybody, thank you for tuning into this special program. I know it's a little different than normal. I'm drunk and I'm in Puerto Rico. To thank Joe for tuning in. Thanks Stephanie, thank Katie over there for being a part of the show as well. We'll be back next week from our usual location and usual time to talk more about The Walking Dead episode 15. But thank you very much, everyone. Check out issuesprogram.com. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.